have good information. What other topics?
Effective group decision and communication.
Yeah, effective group decision. So it's certainly a different topic. Yeah. What would some of the supporting ideas be? There's a definition there. There's a definition. So if I was looking for a keyword, I'd say definition of communication. What else is happening there? Sorry? Messages. The word messages is sort of a key word there, isn't it? Yes, so we've got this idea of messages. So imagine you were, imagine those words were being expounded on in these boxes.
I would say effective communication.
Effective communication is a key word, yeah.
And message. Or effective.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be my key word. Effective.
Effective, yeah. It's part of the topic, isn't it? Yeah. Noise, yeah, noise is raised. That's a supporting idea. What role is noise playing though? This is when we're starting to look at the links between these ideas. We suddenly mentioned noise.
So noise is playing the negative or the
Yep.
Lead transmission.
yeah.
Is that clear though from the logic of this paragraph?
No. It doesn't talk about translation.
This is what you need. Yeah.
It does. This message may be affected by noise. Like
Yeah.
that to me is pretty clear.
Yeah, but we don't know what the definition of noise is. In Houston, it's got like 30 examples.
Yeah, but was your purpose to write about noise?
No, it's not about communication.
But, and I suppose what I'm trying to lead to here is how this is often what you get in your first draft when you're just throwing, taking what's here and throwing it all together. Now start to look at that logical flow, and in particular, is there a nice sort of transfer of ideas happening here so that, and even when we get to this concluding sentence, what do you think about that? Because it's not referenced, it's the student's interpretation of the relevance of this paragraph, as short as it is. Therefore, understand the impact of good communication process can prove beneficial for...
I don't really like that at all.
No, let's get rid of
It's
it.
just
Because it says that understanding it can prove beneficial.
Yep.
Well, that doesn't really
Do you
help.
think that's come out of
It hasn't elaborated enough on it.
elaboration here? Yes, elaboration. And so where would we... It could be that you've got all the notes for this, but again, this is sort of judging of, okay, what's going on here, and is it clear, for instance? And there's one that I thought a bit about this. I actually used this originally for something completely different, just to show referencing. But I thought I'm going to apply this process, and I wanted you to do an activity, even though you've managed to avoid doing it with each other. Okay, we'll work on that one. Looking at the time. Communication is a process that involves sending and receiving messages through various channels. What do you think about that sentence?
Well, the
Is
term
it true?
channels- The term channels is quite loose.
Loose, yeah,
Well,
channels?
it'd be okay if you did a secondary
be
sentence to
referenced.
explain what he meant by channels.
It
Yeah.
should be referenced, that's right.
It probably should be, or it should be clear where it's from and what role it's playing, because it reads like you've made that up, you've interpreted that, and it's a bit hard to interpret that from the previous information.
Yeah.
So it must be contextualised. and
Contextualised,
given
that's a bit credit. So these are the things that you would be looking at with your first draft, and also I suppose I'm using this for two reasons: to point out what's going on in this very small paragraph in terms of, turning this into that is quite easy, but then there's got to be more work, more moved. So what's happened here to make this a little bit better? This is actually 117 words, so the previous example was a little bit less. Just to give you a concept of how little space you really have in terms of words. Why is this a little bit better in terms of connecting ideas and what's happened?
Because there's linking words. That links.
Some
the
linking
actual-
words?
Yeah. That links the actual ideas together.
So does that help?
Yes.
And in a way they're acting like that transition, but they're not transition sentences. But they help to show that you've almost got a connection of one idea to the next. So these are our supporting ideas. And what did I do with that communication information there? Because I know that's in Utzon. Previously it wasn't really clear. I've actually joined
Oh,
those.
yes. So you've actually joined, so it says Utzon defines communication and that, so you've joined that reference with those two statements. Like
So I don't, rather than having to reference Yunsan
Yeah,
twice,
yeah.
and that that uses up some words. I've found a way to use sentence structure to make it clear that they're both basically from Yunsan. And in fact, it makes, I think, that a little bit more powerful, particularly that quote, which probably if I had choice I would have got rid of the quote and changed that. But I wanted to leave that there as an example for you. This one, what's happening here? And I've rewritten this several times, I'm still not happy with it. But what was I trying to do there? That purple is new. All the purple bits are new.
Think it back to the group decision making.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit more logical flow and to explain why, even just to set this up better. So the role, remember, of transitional phrases or sentences is to show a logical link from one idea to the next. And sometimes you'll get paraphrases that do that for you, if you're lucky enough. But also you have to think that through, and you might have to adjust them. And even this next one, I wanted to match to the audience. I wanted to make sure that I'm using group members as an example here. But in my paraphrase, they're talking about audience from Rothwell, and such as a group member. So I wanted to link it back to my purpose, which is group decision making, and to then make it a little bit clearer what's going on here. If this was your paragraph, what else is wrong with it? What other comments would you say? It's short of words. Just thrown away 50% of content marks. There's only 2 sources in there. You need at least 3. It's heavily reliant on Yunsan. This is what your marker's thinking, don't forget. And if your focus was benefits, which yours is, there's a big component of benefits. Is there much on benefits here? It's been a big focus on definition, and the benefits are a bit light on. So that's another part of your criterial sort of process. You're actually saying, okay, so how much of the paragraph should be devoted to this? And if we were going to flesh this out, I would be focusing on, going back to my question, always go back to your question, what is that link between applying communication process, which is feedback, and the link to benefits? Even if I'm just talking about one benefit, I need to expand upon that. So don't forget to judge for content before you start to make it into a perfect paragraph, because the content is always also being marked. So in line with that, I wanted to talk about a step-by-step process. I've adapted this from the handout that I've left here for you to easily it's actually from UNE, so you can grab it yourself anytime. They conveniently provide all these PDFs for people to flip.
UNE.
University of New England, and so this handout here is from UNE. And I've looked at, and I quite liked their concept of a step-by-step process, and I've adapted it to core, I suppose. And sort of just going through the steps that you might be working through at the moment, and using the topic sentence as your hook. It's a paragraph often is like a clothes hanger really, and that hook is the topic sentence. It might be that you plan that first. And that can really very much come out of your question, because you've been told pretty much what the topic of your paragraph should be. Starting to plan those supporting ideas based on the task requirements. You might utilise this to do that. You may certainly utilise some method like this, or a mind map, some sort of organiser, visual organiser. You're paraphrasing and summarising relevant sources and using effective approaches to get to those as quickly as possible, I suppose, and not read and come up with one paraphrase that's relevant. You're checking the logical order of ideas. You're writing your first draft now. So even just organising your ideas here before you put it into a draft is actually an effective use of time, because it's easier to see. Put it away, look at it again. Sometimes it becomes obvious, I don't like the order of that. Revising and editing, this is what we're talking about. Looking for the flow, because the flow won't be here. You need to really work that into your draft. Don't be surprised if you're not reworking your topic and concluding sentences. You're packaging that paragraph. Quite often they are the last ones to be perfect because they rely heavily on what's inside the body of the paragraph. And of course, 7 and 8 are things that are in your criteria. It's really about giving yourself time and skills to do this, and that's why we are running Improve Your Writing starting as of tomorrow, to learn, well, or even check that you know the rules of punctuation, grammar, style. And then proofreading your paragraph is, ideally that word proofread means putting it away in the ideal world and then coming back to it.